My brother-in-law is 21, and I'm 59. But that doesn't matter to me, it's just a number. There's nothing wrong with it. That's why I had an affair with him, and my husband has no idea. In fact, my husband is to blame for this infidelity. I was tired. Very tired. And it wasn't the kind of tired that sleep or a vacation could fix. I was tired of my marriage. Everything had become routine, and it left me feeling incredibly bored. I've been married for decades, too many to count without getting confused. My husband and I know each other by heart. And when I say that, I mean it in the worst way. I knew exactly what time he'd come home, what he'd say, how he'd sit down, when he'd check his phone, and when he'd turn over in bed to fall asleep. Intimacy had been gone for years. There was no fight, no big scandal. It just slowly faded away. First came the excuses. Then the silence. And then, nothing. I'm 59 years old. And no, I'm not dead. I haven't lost my desire to live, or my passion, or my need to feel like a woman. But to him, I no longer was one. We were just housemates, partners in routine, two people sharing a roof and very little else. He never asked if I was okay. He never looked at me the way he used to. And I got tired of waiting for something that was never coming back. All of that changed because of someone I never expected, my brother-in-law. My husband's younger brother. 21 years old. Yes, I know. It sounds wrong, even as I say it. At first, I laughed it off. I thought I was exaggerating, that he was just being kind, that he was simply respectful. But no. He saw me. Truly saw me. He listened to me. He looked at me when I spoke. He asked me things my husband hadn't asked in years. I tried to set boundaries. Clear ones. Because I'm not naive. I know how these kinds of stories end. The age gap is huge, his family, everything about it was wrong. And for a while, it worked. I kept telling myself I wasn't going to be unfaithful. That it wasn't worth it. That it was crazy. But there are moments when you realize someone values you more than your own partner does. And that's dangerous. Very dangerous. My husband stayed the same, distant, cold, automatic. We slept in the same bed like strangers. Meanwhile, his brother made me feel wanted. He didn't have to say anything. I could feel something happening between us. And the worst part is, I went along with it. Little by little, the age difference stopped mattering. At first, I told myself it couldn't happen. Then that it shouldn't. And eventually, that I didn't want to deny it anymore. I wasn't looking for love. I was looking for an affair. The first time wasn't planned. It never is. It started as a conversation between the two of us, one night when my husband wasn't home. Something we had been building up to for weeks. And then, one thing led to another, and it happened. I cheated. And I did it with his 21-year-old brother. For the first time in years, I felt like someone saw me as a woman. Someone who listened, who valued me. And yes, I knew it was wrong. But in my mind, my husband was the reason it all happened. The affair became our secret. No one suspected a thing. I kept playing my role as the bored wife, routine, fake smiles. But inside, I had something that made me feel alive again. The age difference stopped being an issue. And like any infidelity, there was risk. But instead of scaring me, the risk made me feel alive. I wasn't in love. That's not what I wanted. It was something else, the thrill of having an affair. The irony of knowing the man sleeping next to me had no idea what was going on. For the first time in a long time, I felt like someone desired me. I never thought I would enjoy the affair this much. And I'm not talking about intimacy, I'm talking about the excitement. The feeling of living a secret double life. No one knew. No one suspected. My husband kept living in his world, believing everything was the same. Meanwhile, I was living a double life. And in my mind, he deserved it for never valuing me. With my brother-in-law, there were no arguments. No demands. No drama. It was something without commitment. He knew from the beginning this wasn't meant to be serious, and so did I. That made it easier. More dangerous. More addictive. Sometimes he would say things to me that my husband never did, not about my body, but about me. The way I think, the way I speak. And I found myself wondering when I stopped receiving that in my marriage, when I became invisible. I don't regret it. Not yet. Maybe someday I will. Maybe when everything falls apart. Because I know these things don't last forever. I know secrets have an expiration date. But I also know something else. If it hadn't happened, I'd still be stuck, numb, resigned, accepting a life that no longer gave me anything. Age wasn't the problem. It was just an excuse I kept repeating to myself until I stopped believing it. I don't feel old. I felt ignored. And that's much worse. He gave me back something I thought I had lost. And yes, it was infidelity. It was betrayal. But still. What no one understands from the outside is that, despite being 21, he didn't act like a boy. He didn't have that awkward immaturity I expected. Quite the opposite. He listened carefully, thought before speaking, and knew when to stay quiet. He didn't talk to impress me or try to seem older. He spoke like someone who understands the world far beyond what his age suggests. And that's what ultimately convinced me. He never treated me like a trophy or like I was disposable. He treated me like a woman. Like a person. Like someone who mattered. And after so many years of feeling invisible in my own marriage, that matters more than any number on a document. I didn't need him to promise me anything. I needed to feel valued. I needed to matter to someone. I needed to be heard. He knew exactly where he stood. He knew I was older, that I was married, that there were clear boundaries. And even so, he didn't play the victim or the hero. He took responsibility for his part without complaints. That surprised me more than once. While my husband avoided any uncomfortable conversation, his brother was able to talk about what he felt without hiding. He didn't ask for explanations. He didn't demand anything. He was just there. Present. I never felt manipulated or used. And I didn't use him either. Over time, I realized something I never expected to admit: maturity doesn't always come with age. Sometimes it comes from the ability to truly see another person. And that's exactly what he did with me. He looked at me as if I still had something to offer. And I, tired of being part of the background, chose to believe him. I'm going to be completely honest, there's something else I need to say, even if people don't like hearing it. My husband also shares responsibility in all of this. I'm not going to carry the weight of this infidelity alone when it didn't start with just me, but with years of his indifference. Because no one becomes unfaithful overnight. Before the lies, there are signs. I spoke up many times. I said I felt lonely, that I needed affection, that I missed closeness, excitement, intimacy. I wasn't asking for miracles. I was asking for attention. I was asking to feel like I still mattered to the man I married. He always had an excuse: work, exhaustion, age, the years we'd been together. As if time were a justification for stopping caring. As if I should settle for scraps just because we weren't young anymore. He never truly asked what was wrong with me. He stopped seeing me as a woman. I got used to not expecting messages, not expecting affection, not expecting interest. And that slowly shuts you down inside. It makes you doubt yourself. It makes you feel like you're asking for too much when all you want is something as basic as being valued. I didn't feel loved, admired, or needed. I felt abandoned. So yes, when my brother-in-law came into my life and looked at me differently, when he treated me like I still mattered, it was inevitable that something would happen. It wasn't just the affair. It was realizing I wasn't crazy for wanting more. That it wasn't a whim. That I wasn't asking for too much. My husband had countless chances to prevent this. Not with grand gestures, but with simple things: listening, looking at me, asking how I was. But he chose to ignore me. He chose to believe I would always be there, waiting, enduring. I'm not saying that makes him solely responsible. I made my choices, and I take responsibility for them. But I'm not going to accept being cast as the villain either. Because when a woman stops feeling like a woman in her own marriage, something is already deeply broken. And it didn't start with the infidelity. It started long before. So yes, I was unfaithful. And I'm not proud of it. But I'm not going to pretend it came out of nowhere. It was the result of years of not being seen, not being valued. And even if no one knows, even if it remains a secret, I know exactly why it happened.